Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in for another awesome episode of Painting Happy Lil Minis. I'm your host Rick, and we've got our farewell friend Kurt here as co-host. And today's special event, we are doing a speed paint competition where we have 3 special guests. And we'll start right over here with Drew. Drew, please introduce yourself, even though I've said your name 3 times, Drew.
Drew, go. What's your name, Drew?
Hi, I'm Drew Carrington. I'm from, I run the painting website 1inchheroes.com and take commissions. I also do IT as my big boy job.
All right. Muggle life. Then we have Jeff.
Hi, I'm Jeff Hall from Games and Stuff. I've been involved in the mini hobby for 30 plus years now, so let's not remind me how old I am.
Nice.
So.
And then finally we have Dave.
Hi, I'm Dave Taylor. I'm not as old as Jeff. It's only been 26 years.
Only 26 in the hobby.
26 in the hobby. But yeah, so I have my business is Dave Taylor Miniatures.
Right.
I do painting commissions as well. But not as many as him.
So Dave, you have an accent.
I do.
Where are you originally from?
Toledo.
Toledo, Ohio.
Dundalk. This is the Dundalk accent. It's very different from the Essex.
It is.
I'm originally from Australia.
All right,
So.
very cool. And
And Drew, where are you from originally?
I'm born and bred in Baltimore.
really, you look like you may have been from, I don't know.
Scandinavia.
No, what's that mountain? The Lonely Mountain?
I was going to say Mount Doom.
Mount Doom, yeah.
Erebor.
I was gonna say, am I an orc or a dwarf? I'm not sure.
Yeah, dwarf.
6
Miss Morgul. Deal with it.
All right, so,
Fair, fair.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, for all of you that have tuned in and will be tuning in, we are painting, not Kurt and I.
We are not
We are
painting.
not painting, but these gentlemen will be painting some Primaris Marines from 40K, Games Workshop's Primaris Marines.
Yep.
They're pretty slick.
Yeah, they're cool.
So we've already got them like pre-primed up here, and these guys are going to draw their chapters. Is that correct?
Yes, they're going to be drawing their chapters from this box. It's very special. We had this handcrafted and handmade.
Back
here
in shipping.
Here in Baltimore. So
Yeah.
So yeah, they're going to be pulling their chapters, choosing the Marine they want to do based on whether it's white or black is easier for them to do. And then we have an hour time limit. I believe that's right.
Yeah, we're going to give them an hour to paint and see what they can get done in an hour.
And if you're not painting all of your miniatures in an hour, you're doing it wrong
Yeah.
in general. Because
I agree.
every miniature should only take 60 minutes.
At least.
Even the big dragons.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everything.
No, size doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I've been.
You've been saying that for
Rumor has
years.
it. All right, so we'll go ahead and hand this over to them, and they can draw. Please, gentlemen, be so kind as to not like peeky.
No peeky, Dave.
Should Drew draw first?
Shake it up. No, we'll pass
do
it
the
around
honors.
over there. All right, here it is. Picking. All right, I like it.
Inspected by number 5.
He's alive. He's back in shipping.
For now. Unless we can't find those boxes. All right, you can set that on the floor next to you. All right, go ahead, Dave. Open and reveal what you'll be using. Oh no!
Blood Angel.
Ah! Give it to me. Nope.
No,
Give
he got it. That's what he got.
His miniature.
Well, yeah, give up the miniature. This one? So he did
The one I prepared earlier.
Just kidding.
There you go.
That's hilarious.
That's funny. So yes, Dave also painted and brought in one of his newly painted Blood Angel miniatures to show off today. So wonderful.
Yep.
So you called your shot.
I did, and that was amazing.
All right.
All right,
Unless they're all Blood Angels.
I got a Dark Angel.
Woo!
Which is good because it's a Chaos Marine. Troll.
Wow. And the forums are lighting up already. Love it. So Space Wolves are chaos. We can all agree.
yeah,
They're all
well,
fangs
sure.
and mutations. What did you get, Smarty Pants?
Apparently, I have elected hard mode and gotten white star.
Very good.
I like it. White is
cool.
actually the easiest because he's already prime white, which basically the work is already done for you.
Oh, I see.
I was told.
You
So
paint the red icon.
that's it. The red, you're done. That's it.
It's fair.
If you
So
don't finish first.
So what were the other
Right.
choices, Kurt? What else was in there?
That's a great question, Kurt.
They're
The
all,
stack is right there.
Oh, they were all based on, I think, Ultramarines. I think Wolves were in there also. Blood Ravens.
Literally
look
right
at them.
there.
Oh, look at this.
Iron Hand.
Yeah, we have Iron Hands. So,
Salamander.
Sally's. So they're all pretty basic. We didn't do no fancy pants. You know, nothing cool. We'll save that for the next one. That's the best Marine chapter of the Ultras. So.
And then at the end, after they've completed their paints and we've seen them all done, we're going to give them a few. How long do we want to give them for them to vote? Because you're all going to be voting on who's the winner, and the winner will be receiving this wonderfully crafted golden brush award right here.
Awesome.
Got a golden brush.
And so it's going to be based on
Falling out of the
y'all's votes on who's going to be the one to walk home with the golden brush based on the paints. And yeah, so it should be a lot of fun. So let's let them choose their marine. And oh boy, there's another one here, right there, so that everybody can choose their marine. Yeah, no,
Oh, okay. Make it interesting.
it's a challenge. Challenge
Dark
level.
green.
So
All right. So what color marine do you want, Dave?
I will take one of the black.
All right. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm just gonna hand this whole thing over, and you guys can
Actually, yeah, just in case I make a mistake, having spares would be good. And when I say just in case,
Can't
I mean
spare.
when I make a mistake.
all right,
Yeah, it's
just throw them on the end. All right, there we go. So there you have it, everybody. They've got their chapter. They've got their marine.
Take your time, get your paints that you think you need.
Yeah.
No rush. We'll start the timer when you guys are nice and ready.
And while they do that, we're gonna Kurt go ahead and chitty chat about where he's going and all things he's going to be doing in the near future. And I'm going to share this a few more times.
Oh, I love it. I'll be going to sunny Ohio on Friday, taking up my new job there. So the missus and I are moving, packing, and all that fun stuff this week. So yeah, going to Ohio. I'll be working for Academy Games. Academy Games is a board game retailer. They do historical war board games currently and stuff of that nature. So check them out at academygames.com or Google them and all that fun stuff. So
Right.
yeah, looking really forward to it. Going to PAX.
All right.
Yeah, so that'll be
PAX
cool.
Unplugged.
Coming up soon in Philadelphia.
Right.
I'm excited. Because
Yeah,
new
it's good.
con, you don't know what to expect.
You don't know what to expect. It's
And
gonna be
I'm
a
actually
lot of
really
fun.
excited about it. All right, so and you people watching us, thank you very, very much for watching. We really appreciate
Absolutely.
it. If you can take your time and do us a favor, smash that like button down, share it, do what you can, help us spread the word of this ridiculous contest going on here. And help us see, because you guys get to vote. The more people we have, the more votes we're going to have for these, these fine contestants. These fine contestants.
Gents.
Fine.
And just so you guys know, this is what the marine that they're using, the Primaris, came on. They all came on one of these little sprues here, and tedious amount of time. It took literally an hour worth of time of my day to put these together. It was like,
Put together almost 10 of them and
Yeah.
get them primed.
yeah, it was ridiculous. With all the things that we got going on around here at Game Trade Media, to take an hour of my day out to put these together was actually worth it. It was.
We totally appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
So we got some fine visual aids for you guys to get, to use and abuse, if you will.
Oh, we
Much
will.
bigger now.
Well, that is. Thank you.
Yes,
Whoa.
yes.
Jerome says, "Show us what you've got."
I don't get it.
Smash that like button, everybody. That's right.
Smash it!
As we go through this, if you're seeing one of the painters over here doing something really cool that you really like, hit that like button. Just blow up the screen. Let everybody know that that's a pretty cool thing going on.
Or the opposite, if you see
Or-
them doing something they don't like, smash that hate button.
Well, I'm not really a big fan of the hate button. I'd rather the internet not be used for hate.
There's no hate button.
It's just angry.
If you just hit the like button 3 times, it
For a
counts
second
as
there, I
hate.
thought I was confused. I thought I was getting social media wrong.
Hey, Terry's with us.
How do you use social media?
Terry's watching. Terry Litoku, yeah.
Hey, Terry.
Yeah. It's like Iron Chef of marine painting. Oh my goodness, guys, where are all your elf contour brushes so you can dry brush for your life?
There she is. 1 hour.
That's
Don't want
awesome.
to dry brush Space Marines. Dave may, but
What do you? I
All
I
right.
agree with Jeff.
do. But this time is no. So again, we got Blood Angels, Dark Angels, and White Scars. Today we'll be painting White Scars.
all right, Stewie.
Is that how you spell it?
Yes, white.
Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, that looks right. Sure. I like it. So yeah, everybody, you guys have the paints that you feel are good. No issues. We happy? Are we not happy?
We're happy.
All good?
I'm gonna switch my marine.
All right.
It's a little bit wobbly.
Yeah, I
that's
saw
good.
there was a couple wobbly heads. He says
Are
that
there any,
he says
white
it
guys
adds to
with
the difficulty of the
solid heads?
painting.
Yeah.
Right. It was a challenge mode.
He's really
He's really wobbly. Right, well, guess they're all bubbly headed.
Yeah. So when I was putting them together, it just the head just kind of fit in that little groove right there. So I was just like, do I glue it stable or?
The correct answer is yes.
Well,
I think because it's got that post that runs all the way through and the little sort of underneath, so it won't. These won't fall off.
They won't fall off.
Yeah.
But they're
Right.
not.
But
They like to shake.
yes.
yeah,
cool.
but, and then you can pose them
Yeah, for
when
sure.
you're
As
when
you're
you're done.
moving
You can have them like,
forward,
well, I
like-
want my guy looking over that way, but no, maybe today I want him looking
This
this
is
way.
actually turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at. Oh, it's like an action figure.
Right.
That's quit complaining.
As much points of articulation as any good
I
toy.
didn't know that.
One point of articulation.
I'm just gonna play with my action figure.
All right. So are you gentlemen ready?
We are.
Ready as we'll ever be.
Can you post up that timer?
Oh, we have a timer.
We do have a timer to put on the.
Whoa!
There it is.
Such production.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you all for watching. Please share this. We'd like to get lots of people's eyes on the wonderful painters that we have here today.
And we're just gonna have silence after this. Once the minutes, once the hour starts, it's gonna be like watching grass grow. It's gonna be great.
Or literally watching paint dry.
Yeah, it's a new episode
Literally
of
watching paint
dry.
All right, here we go. And go.
Oh, you didn't hit the buzzer.
Oh.
Yes. Which we'll hit every.
Now it's official.
We'll hit that every 2 minutes, just to let you guys know where you're. So yeah, all right. So while they're painting, we're gonna be over here. We're gonna try and quiet it down because we wanna be quiet for these guys. We don't want to disrupt them, and
Right. I noticed that Drew started off with a very detailed brush.
Yeah.
I see he's got that yellow tip on the end. I don't know what that means.
That means it's a standard brush. I believe that's an orange. If I can see from here correctly, I'm not sure.
You are correct.
I know my colors. So guys, what do you guys think of the? I saw the GW product. They just kind of announced that little hand-holdy miniature grabby device.
Right now, that'd be super handy.
Yes.
It'd be awesome to have.
And it's also one of those things. There's been a million devices like that kickstarted and
I've seen a
everything
bunch of
else, and,
Kickstarters, yeah.
and everybody loved them. And then GW put one out, and everyone, the nerd rage, was like, "That's the dumbest thing ever." It's just because people have to hate on.
You have
Games
to do
Workshop.
it.
Right.
You have to though. It's
I
amazing.
take the original old school technique of putting poster tack on
yes.
an old paint pot.
Hating Games
I
Workshop.
go even older. Opposable thumbs.
Ah.
And I bring that up because it's horribly misplaced, and they make great products, and
It's super old school.
it's
But Jeff's right. Hating Games Workshop, the oldest hobby within the hobby.
yes. But I think the paint handle is actually going to be very useful. I've just ordered a ton of them for the shop, and I think we're going to sell lots of them because people are going to
Yeah.
get them to use.
I never
They're
used
what,
it.
$8 a piece?
Yeah,
Exactly,
Yeah,
$8.
that's ridiculous.
$8.
There's one on Kickstarter right now that is literally just a hook and grab that you put like a bottle topper in.
Was it 30?
And yeah, it's like $20 or $30 just for the base piece. And it's like, no.
Yeah, it's super economical. When's it coming out, Jeff? Do you know?
It releases next week.
Oh, I like it. I've never really used any device like that, or even tacked it onto the pot like Drew does. I just not the way I've painted. So I'm looking forward to trying it out and seeing if I can get used to it because it is better not to kind of be grabby hands on your miniature.
Be fondling your miniatures all the
Yeah,
time.
right, exactly. So I'm looking forward to it.
So Terry was like, what black lidded Citadel paint is on the table there? Okay, so the black lidded ones those are actually Army Painter War Paints or Vallejo.
we got an amalgamation of
Yeah.
paints on the table here between Army Painter, Vallejo, GW, and I believe there's even some game color over there, or some what do we call it?
What?
No, there isn't.
No P3?
Oh wait, no. Not yet.
I
But
have some
wait.
P3 with me because I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Now we have them all.
And then on Terry's also, David's dry brushing, yes!
Does anybody have any black top Citadel paints with them?
Yeah.
Do you?
Some of
yeah,
the
okay,
some of the old ones.
Drew has one as his handle.
Oh, that's his handle. All right.
Craig says no Ultra Smurfs are allowed, Kurt.
What's Greg?
Craig Starnes.
Okay.
Terry says there was one in the close-ups.
Yes, that's the one Drew's using for his
Okay.
his paint holder.
Nice.
Is there paint still in it, Drew?
No.
Weak.
Well, it was originally a mixing pot.
That's why I still have some of the blacktops. I keep them in the lowest part of my basement to make sure that they stay perfect.
Timothy Colonna says, new rule, Jeff has to use the 49-cent Walmart paint, the apple barrel.
Carrot's got a whole bunch of those.
Ironically, I did find a whole box of them. And when I say a box, I mean about 50 of them. And I have no idea where they came from or how I acquired them. But yes, I love apple barrel. It's my favorite paint.
Fantastic. You love them so much you go into a fugue state when you go into a Walmart.
I'm a.
Like,
They see me. They know me. They call me Apple Barrel Kurt. Here he comes, ABK.
He's my favorite wrestler.
Timothy says, new rule, Jeff has to use the Walmart. Oh, I'm sorry. Where someone said something
I
pretty
think
funny
the
here.
Apple Barrel Challenge would be hilarious.
Oh, man.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
I would
too.
absolutely
The
do it.
problem is, the base coating alone would take up the hour. Because they do not cover very well.
Well, it depends on what you're using, I guess.
That's not true. There's no foundation for that.
Well, maybe not in the Apple Girl, but I've always been a fan of the Delta paints from Michaels for terrain and, and everything else, and that stuff has a lot of good coverage.
Terry said, apple barrel paints. That sounds like a Cutthroat Kitchen type of sabotage.
Yep.
You say that, Terry, but in the future, that might actually be a thing here. We might actually do an episode of painting that is more of a Cutthroat Kitchen event, so stay tuned for that.
Everybody has to paint this miniature, but you all have to use this one paint also.
You all get one brush. One? Yeah, one brush to use. Each? No, one brush.
Take turns. Like musical brushes.
Oh my God.
Worst idea ever. That's pretty bad. We can all do it. It's not a good idea.
Terry also says, by the way, guys, I'm totally gifting pictures right now. Nice.
Fantastic.
Very cool.
All right, so we've got some base coating going on over here. Everybody got the determined look on their face.
Look at him.
Dave's scoping out what everybody else is doing.
Coverages.
That's a veteran move right there. See what everyone else is doing. See very creepy in their ear as you're doing it. Very veteran move. Been doing this 26 years. He knows.
It has a good paint smell.
Oh, that new paint smell. Seconded only by new book smell. New Codex smell. When you crack that new
You
Codex.
can really smell the benzene.
So we've gotten 6 minutes in, and looks like Dave's almost.
Dave, let's see your mouth.
Oh, you're that kid.
The finished
Let's see
version?
your mouth. The other one.
Oh, the one I already painted?
Okay. There we go. So I'm guessing this one didn't take an hour, right?
There we go. Show you guys what a finished, what is it, Blood Angel
Yeah.
No, I'm guessing it took longer than what I was saying. It wasn't being smart.
will look like? There he is.
Oh, look how dark and mysterious it is.
Yeah, it looks cool.
And he's like, look at my butt.
He's all right.
Yeah.
That's
It's kind of funny that he actually drew Blood Angel, considering it's the chapter he practiced with.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost like he stacked the deck.
When I
I
drew that,
just-
it was like, I bet you they were old.
That would have been hilarious.
Quit messing with me.
Brian says,
There it is.
it's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for him.
I was really excited. I was hoping that Drew would get Crimson Fist today, but alas, it didn't happen.
Meh.
Meh.
I was hoping for a hero.
Ian says,
Kurt didn't put him in the box.
Not my fault. I was threatened, and I am very, very weak.
Ian in the chat says, I have no idea who you all are.
What I like to hear.
But this is cool. Good luck to all the participants. Someone do a Death Watch Primaris. I don't think anybody drew Death Watch. Did it? Did anybody draw a Death Watch?
No.
I wasn't in
So,
that.
okay.
I totally would have.
No, these were all. Yeah. I think these were all founding chapters, right?
Not Blood Ravens.
Yep. Oh, you're right. You're right.
So it looks like everybody's kind of using a different technique here. We got Dave obviously dropping some dry brush right off the beginning. Jeff, what were you just doing? Slopping?
I'm mixing two greens because the darkest green is entirely too dark and doesn't show up. So you need to mix that with a little bit of a brighter green, and also trying to hope for some better coverage because it's just not covering
doing it? Yeah.
super well right now.
Okay.
And Drew is finger painting.
He's over there doing some detail work right off the bat.
I didn't know you had
And it
that.
looks great. But he did pull a white marine.
He pulled a white marine.
That'd be great.
So he'll have to go back through and clean up some of them, I'm sure.
Nice.
But yeah, do it. It's easy when your model is already the color you want it to be.
Hey, Kanan, welcome to the group. So Kanan's from Vegas. He's got a store out there. He watches us regularly. And we do appreciate everybody, again, tuning in. And also, go to your local game store. Check out the painting stations that they might have there. There's usually a resident instructor of some sort, someone that likes to teach some techniques.
Yeah, whether it's a customer or somebody, an employee of the store. It's always good to find the people that are painting there and to get some advice and get some tips from them, or just sit down and paint with them. Painting with friends is better than painting alone.
Yeah.
I've never painted with anyone.
Everyone, he does say hi, by the way. Kanan does.
No.
Emily says she's loving those handheld shots, so we can get those close-ups.
Look at that handheld shot.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that green's coming out just.
Yeah, it looks great.
Well, Dave gave me some Games Workshop Caliban green, so I'm now getting the actual Dark
wow.
Angel colors in the works here.
You see, that's what I love about
Look at
it.
that camaraderie
I
between
saw
us
that,
here.
but that's the hobbyist camaraderie. If it's not from Caliban, it's not
If I
official.
thought it a bit earlier.
Yeah, if only he wouldn't sabotage 7 minutes of your time.
Oh, Jesus. Sabotage. Savage.
It will be the difference.
7 minutes is all you
Difference
need to make a
maker.
difference. That's it.
Yeah.
7 minutes. All right. So how long you said we're just about 10
We're about 10 minutes in.
All right.
Oh, jeez.
10 minutes in.
And it's looking good.
Drew's already done.
White scars finished.
So Drew, have you ever painted white scars before?
I have, actually.
I mean, I'm guessing
ages ago.
everybody sitting here has painted this type of marine before at some point.
I've painted Dark Angels. I've painted Blood Angels. I've never painted a White Scar.
See.
I painted that blood angel.
Yeah.
What one is it? I've never seen it. No.
Just taking him off the table. So
Oh, that's gone now.
okay.
And for those of you that are watching, just so you guys know, on Thursday we'll be doing our regularly scheduled Painting Happy Lil Minis, and I'll be having Carrie Wood on with me. Carrie is the assistant editor for Gemstone Publishing, and we'll be doing some miniature painting on Thursday. We're gonna bust open those treasure chests and some more wizards.
Jealous.
Yeah, stuff.
Yeah, I'll just postpone my move.
Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna happen.
Alyssa will love that. Hashtag divorce. Good stuff. Yeah, it's nice just to not pack boxes for a few minutes. It's just
Right.
Watch people paint. Alright, base coating getting done. I'm liking it. You know what we should have done? I think Dave was onto something where we should have just picked one chapter, have them all painted, just start having just paint our armies that we want.
I kind of feel like we
changed it up.
I kind of feel like we
You're not
discussed
painting
it.
one marine. You've got now to paint 10. And you're also painting 10, and you're painting 10 assault marines.
It's all up here. It's all up here today. I remember there's a Games Workshop regional manager that would make his children paint goblins for his punishment. So whenever they did,
I remember
not
that.
like harsh, terrible things, but they didn't do their homework or whatever. All right, you go paint 10 goblins. Don't come out till you finish. They go in and paint 10 goblins and to his specifications, and he would check them out and be like, all right, punishment over.
Wow.
And he was getting his army painted.
He knew what he was doing.
I thought that was a brilliant idea.
That's funny.
I don't know, man.
You don't think you do that?
I just can't get over the nodding space marines. I'm looking this way. No, I'm looking this way.
It gives them a little bit more depth, man.
Does it?
I don't know.
Does it?
See, that's what happens.
Or it looks like they're scared. Look at.
Well, yeah, they do have the shakes. They're on an ice planet. It's cold. Mate says next time they need to up the ante and have everyone wear a blindfold. Oh, wow.
Ninja painting.
You've seen Drew's painting before, then.
Oh.
Got your good. Got your good. The smack
That
talk
hurts.
has begun. It has begun.
Sorry, it seemed fairly quiet.
It was very easy. It was low hanging fruit, Dave, but I appreciate you going for it.
I don't like the stretch.
I know. I don't blame you.
Terry says, I've seen Dave both dry brush and lick his brush. This is why he's got my vote.
If you're not licking your brush,
You're not doing it right.
It's true.
Right.
No.
And that's, I try not to do it during the show, but every time it happens, somebody asks, "Why are you licking your brush?"
It's
Because I'm painting.
yeah, right. You want that fine tip, and the only way you can do that is just off the edge of your lip,
Yeah. How do you get a tip on your brush?
right? Blindfolded, the models would still probably look better than what my daughter can do. Aw.
Ouch.
Ow.
It's from Ian Leeden. Is that how you say that last name? Does that look right?
Sure.
L-E-A-D-O-N?
I like it. That's absolutely how you do it.
All right.
Absolutely. So everybody out there, again, thank you for watching. And what are you guys working on? You know, we want to
Yeah.
hear from you in the chat. What are you painting? Have you painted up any Primaris Marines of your own? What chapters you doing? We like to hear from you, see what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, go to Painting Happy Little Minis, the Facebook group, and join that because we got a really good community building up there for people sharing techniques, showing off the work that they're doing, and just how much better they are than myself.
And we'll be posting the video for this
Right.
on there. You know, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
how the turnaround time for that, but
Yeah.
yeah, always a lot of pictures of stuff people are working on. You know, getting advice to showing off. You know, what they're doing and stuff.
Nice. Hey, James, happy Halloween to you as well.
Oh, it
He
is.
says happy Halloween to everybody. And John Glaspie says paint faster, brush jockeys. Yeah.
Well, according to Home Depot
Thanks,
today,
Gillespie.
it's Christmas already. According to Home Depot.
Is it really?
Oh my God.
Based on what's already in stores?
Unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
The whole area is Christmas. So bless it.
So where are you at already there, Dave? Are you doing more detail work or?
No, just
Starting the highlights, right?
the highlighting.
Okay.
Initial highlight go.
And
Basically, with this, I decided to, instead of starting from red, from white, and putting on a bright red, and then shading down, which is probably usually the sort of the best way to go. As we talked about on the show before, like
Right.
washes take a long time to dry, and
Too
I'm
long.
going to get it done in an hour.
Yeah, you're not gonna see a lot of washes, I think, today, unless you're doing like kind of spot washes and a little bit and cracks and stuff like that.
Yeah. So basically working with those,
Okay.
starting with the dark red, going up through the Citadel Mephiston red,
Yep.
which is really cool, and then bright scarlet kind of thing.
nice.
Big fan of the Mephiston red.
And what is your paint palette looking like, Jeff? What's your plan of attack here?
I'm done with the green. The base coat is done there, and I've started to go in and paint the little webbing between the joints of the armor and back into black, and the same with the chest eagle, and then it's a base coat of a dark red onto the bolter. And now I'll be starting to highlight some of that armor.
Nice. And Drew, how about yourself?
I'm in hard mode.
Are we
Yeah.
doing details already?
Well, I'm starting to bring the white back up because I did a quick line wash where I went in and just picked out the hardest shadows
Yep.
with some watered down gray.
Okay.
And then I'm using the fact that the white primer doesn't coat a very pure white, so I'm using that to basically act as the mid-tone without having to paint it.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah, was that Corax white spray? Or was it?
It was.
All right. Corax white is very close to almost Ulthuan gray from the GW line, so you can use that to kind of be a good thing, and then start highlighting
Sure.
actual white
Okay.
up on top of that if you're trying to do something in white.
We're trying to be cool.
You see that, ladies and gentlemen? Lessons are being taught here, so make sure you fill out your in-service sheets so we can go ahead and sign those off to say that you got school today, as I have to do when we're done here.
Literally, we have to do.
Ian's like, I'm working on Death Watch. Primaris currently gives the Army much more needed padding and flexibility, and gives Primaris the unique advantage of individual chapter character. Space Wolf, Death Watch, Primaris Marine, for instance, wolf backpack, grizzly bearded head, etc.
Now that they have that transport, they're a lot more usable, I think, on the field of battle as well. As opposed to this foot,
repulsor.
yeah, as opposed to this foot slogging the whole time, which is not always the great idea. Sometimes it's cool.
Okay.
Sometimes it's cool, but you know, sometimes you gotta get from point A to point B.
We need to get Terry down here too to paint with y'all or paint against y'all. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
she's great.
She's not that far away, right?
Canada. right?
Just Canada.
Just Canada.
Canada.
Oh,
Like 8 hours
Canada.
8-hour drive. That's not a big
Right.
deal. Seriously, whoop-de-doo.
That's like driving to Gen Con.
Literally driving to Duncan.
Yeah, no big
No
deal.
big deal at all.
Terry says, I've been painting up some quartered Marines, dry brushing the white up from black primer.
Oh, cool.
And she has a link there for anybody who wants to go check out her Instagram, which is amazing. She has such amazing work there. Everybody wants to know why Dave isn't done yet.
Seriously. Yeah, I've been following Terry stuff with Shadespire, and I'm just getting so mad because I haven't gotten a chance to get my copy yet. Really want to. Or Shadowspire.
Shadowspire?
Yeah, Spire.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shadespire.
Shadowspire. Yeah, I haven't been able to get my copy. I was at a game store a few weeks ago, and they didn't have a copy, and that was the only time I've been. Yeah.
No.
No. But
Obviously,
Alyssa,
you weren't at games and stuff.
no, I was
you
not at
would've
games.
gotten
I
it.
was not at games and stuff. And it's okay because
Nice.
it's okay because my wife told me if I brought home a big game like that, just a packet, that she was gonna bring me. So it worked out well.
I guess you'll be buying it in Ohio.
I'll be buying it in Ohio.
Chris Holdridge asks, does the winner get to pick which of the others he sacrifices to the paint god? Paint for the paint god, brushes for the brush throne.
Ah, yes. Indeed. Well, we tried to get them to sign the waiver. They refused.
Right.
But-
John Glaspie, we appreciate you joining us. Terry also wants to know why Dave isn't done yet.
Have any of you guys tried Shadespire yet?
I've been reading the rules, built all the models.
Yeah.
Hopefully playing it either
These
maybe
models are pretty hot sauce.
They are pretty cool
Thursday,
looking.
Pretty hot fire, as they
the
say.
additional warbands are out this week, so very excited.
Ah, yes, yes.
I think we're going to hold fire on it until the dwarves come out. Or
Right.
Is it Dwarven or the Fire Slayers?
Fire Slayers
Fire
are
Slayers, yeah.
probably going to be in there.
Slayers come out.
Matt Hoffman wants to let everybody know that Drew's secret weapon is that he has a beard brush, so watch out. It will poke right out through the beard and hit some
I'm
highlights.
just waiting for him to pull out just a full white scar. And just,
I thought he was going to do some dry brushing like this.
Wait, what?
you are literally the worst.
I mean,
Literally the worst.
Peter Adams is go games and stuff. Yes.
Thank you.
Ross, I should be studying, but watching painting is much more therapeutic. I agree, Ross.
Absolutely.
indeed.
Especially watching these three paint. Very therapeutic.
I'm at ease just watching them. Soothed.
Like a babbling brook.
Do we have to be like,
Literally.
be the brush?
Literally a babbling brook.
So when was the last time any one of you three actually played a game of Warhammer?
I actually played a 3,000 point game of my Crimson Fist versus Imperial Guard on Saturday.
Nice.
Did you get rocked?
That's probably
What's
been
that?
Did you get rocked?
Actually, I beat him at his own game because
Yes.
he was running Armageddon Steel Legion. So he had all mounted infantry, and I threw everything
punked him?
in transports and just ran him across the field because I said he can't shoot me if I'm, bludgeoning his face.
Facts.
So
I mean, they can try. It's just definitely more difficult.
It's probably been a month or about 2 months since I've played. I
that
just
bad.
did sign up for a new Escalation League at the store. We have 38 people signed up
Stop
for an
it.
Escalation
Wow.
League.
What,
So
what points do you guys start at?
500
Nice.
patrol detachment.
Nice.
So I'm going to start my Death Guard for that.
Nice. Oh, that's too cool.
I played a game last Thursday.
Nice.
It's myself playing Adeptus Mechanicus, 75 power level,
Okay.
along with Mark Kaselniak playing 75 power level of Imperial Guard. Or Astra Militarum.
Astra Militarum. I don't know what this Imperial Guard crap
Well,
is.
the difference is the Imperial Guard have vendettas and Rough Riders.
Oh, you're
and
right.
Astra Militarum
He's
do
100% right.
Yep.
Actually, Rough Riders got better. I think they're usable now.
Rough Riders got left out of the new codex, so
No, but they're in
I think
the,
in the index version.
Yeah, no, they're in the index.
Yeah, they're not in the.
They're
not.
not.
In the
No,
codex.
I know that.
Which is
But they're in the index, and they're not terrible in the index.
are they really not in the new codex?
No, they are not,
Oh.
sir.
It's disappointing.
But yeah, the game was the two of us against Eric Salem playing 150 power level of Death Guard.
Really?
It was, yeah, it's a very cool game.
Yeah.
Mini Painting Studios says Shadespire is great. A little suspect of the Necromunda reboot with the board instead of an old school train. Very cool stuff. And if you guys are in the Painting Happy Little Minis group, you'll see Mini Painting Studio does post live feed paint content in there as well.
Yeah, he's working on that.
I can shed a little light on the Necromunda reboot. There are 2 ways to play. The box game has the board, and the Gang War book that comes out at the same time has all the full
The
3D
rules.
stuff and
Nice.
gang progression and all that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
beautiful. And the models for those are pretty cool too.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. Yeah, very much so.
Tina Gunn wants to know why nobody's sweating bullets. Because they're pros.
Because we haven't turned the heat up yet on these lights.
James says, need to jump in and actually play 8th. Yes, James, you do.
The psychological warfare starts at 30 minutes, so that's when the flashing strobe lights hit.
Yeah.
Oh,
The random noise and sound effects. You know, smoke machine. It's going to be good.
David Kelly says, currently painting way too much as I keep finding stuff brought over the years. This includes a Ragnar Blackmane drop, pod, Assault Force, several Death Watch, kill teams, all sorts of stuff. Oh, I did not know about the other book. There you go. Now they know.
Ironically, I just found a bunch of old Necro stuff too. That I don't even remember buying at a flea market. Probably nothing. 3 or 4 different gangs, just ready to go.
I still have a DeLoc gang from back in the day with all their trench coats and
That was
goggles.
one of the ones I do not have. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do because I think they're scale-wise they're gonna be a little small now, probably. What do you think?
I agree there.
Yeah, they're a
Definitely
little
small
teensy.
Yeah.
in comparison.
I'd be okay with you using them. That'd be fine.
Oh, yeah.
You just want to make my guys feel inferior. I know your tactics. I know your
I was
tactics.
gonna say, if we're using true line of sight, maybe having tiny minis would be a tactical advantage.
I always want to
Got
bust
to model
out.
all of mine neatly.
I always want to
Yeah.
bust out that old cardboard dreadnought from the second edition Cyrus set.
Oh,
Roll
yeah.
around with that for true line of sight. Put it sideways. Hey, it's a GW official. There it is. You tell me I can't use my mouse?
That's fair.
There it is.
Ben Rouge is wondering what paints everybody's using. If we go down the line, starting with Dave, if you want to go ahead and kind of talk about the paints that you're using.
The different brands.
Yeah.
So I've got Vallejo. I've got Citadel. I'm actually just putting on some of the Army Painter gunmetal.
Nice.
Big fan of the Army
You like
Painter
the gunmetal for
Yeah.
KP?
That's my of all the silvers that I've used,
Yeah.
or all the dark silvers I've used. It's a really good one. For my highlights, I use the Vallejo Model Air
Okay.
aluminum. Wow, aluminium.
I was going to say, you better say it right.
We talked about that
I
last
know
time,
we
right?
did.
Okay,
You
yeah.
better say it right.
Don't worry, Mom's asleep at the moment. She's in the other side of the world.
She's so asleep.
But yeah, so they're the ones I'm using. Actually, if I get a little bit of time, I'll go back and do some shading with some coal
Would be
black.
great, Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm using Citadel greens right now, but I have a smattering of other stuff out here. And I'll be using some bolt gun, or lead belcher, I guess I should say,
Yes.
here shortly for the metal.
What's that red you used?
This is Rhinox hide and Mephiston red mixed together to be a really good reddish brown
They got
that
the
has some pretty awesome
secret spice.
coverage.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Look at that.
Is that the one do you use that on your Shadowhawks?
Yes, I use that as the base for the red before I start highlighting it up.
Secret
Cool.
tech.
Nice.
And Drew?
I'm using a variety of Vallejo model colors and game colors.
Okay.
Vallejo only, huh? Well.
Exclusive.
Mr. Exclusive over here.
Somebody's been sponsored.
Timothy
Sponsored part by Vallejo Minis.
Timothy says, I have a Mad Donna in his drawer somewhere. That was from Necromunda, correct?
Correct.
Yeah,
All
man,
right.
Donna Ulanti.
You must have the last names.
All right.
So,
I have a thoroughly endless vault of useless knowledge when it comes to 40K.
Awesome.
Estevan says, do you glue on the weapons before you paint, or is it better to wait? I'm tired of not having guns and arms on my dudes. Any advice or tips would be appreciated. Because I know that there are some painters that will paint on the sprue,
Yep.
and then others, obviously, who do not. What do you guys?
Let's hear everybody's preference, Dave. What is your preference?
My preference is for assembling the whole model, mainly because I don't want to lose bits going through production lining all the bodies and then come back and go, I've only got 9 of the 10 guns. It depends on what you're doing them for. If you're doing them for an army that you're going to be throwing around on the table, glue the weapons on. Just put it all together.
Sure.
If you're doing it for a painting competition, like not a speed painting competition, but something like Crystal Brush,
Sure.
then being able to get in behind the weapons and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Right.
That's what I
Tabletop
think.
quality and painting competition quality. Two different things. Two
All right.
different
Yep.
things. Jeff?
I'm a firm believer of assembling the model. Maybe if it's something really obvious like you could leave off a shoulder pad or something and to get under, but 90% of the model will be assembled. And
or if it's just like a really weird part, like if a wing just curled around, you want to get at it, but you won't be able to.
Yeah, something that can make sense as a sub-assembly, but I cannot. I don't deal with painting on the sprue.
Agreed.
Like that, to me, that's very alien. Because once you start clipping stuff off, then you're clipping. You got to. Yeah, it's just not worth it.
And also gluing on top of paint, also sometimes
less secure bond and everything else. So,
Drew.
I am a big fan of assembling the model.
You too?
I tend to paint in large quantities when I'm doing commissions and that sort of thing. So what I tend to do is, you don't have to paint what you can't see.
True.
So I can work around certain colors, and if it's something like the chest eagle, I can paint just the top of it.
Or what you can see, right?
Right, and then no one will ever be the wiser because his bolt gun is right across his chest.
But we will now.
You will now.
Now I know what's unpainted.
We'll know.
Take it right out of the element.
those Yelp reviews are just going.
Tina Gunn wants to know, which do you guys prefer to paint, monsters or soldiers?
I'm a huge fan of painting monsters.
All right.
If you came to my house right now, my painting table kind of looks like Ray Harryhausen's workshop. It's covered with giant resin monsters all over my painting table.
Nice.
So.
That's awesome.
But I have painted so many armies and so many soldiers over the years that.
Drew, how about you?
I like painting soldiers because I can, while they do tend to be uniform, you can, even with Space Marines, still give them individuality,
right?
And make them your own. For example, on my, my Space Marines at home, one of the things that Crimson Fists do very well is fight orcs. So I have painted kill tallies on their weapons and helmets and shoulders that look like the check marks that orcs use to show kills, so that when they encounter orcs in the field, the orc will be able to look at him and say, "Oh, he's a mighty warrior."
That's pretty cool. And kind of to go back to what Jeff said, you have that big model that's really cool, but you have 10 Marines all looking the same also. That gives you the same feeling, that's a big model in and of itself with 10 models, but it's all uniform. I love uniform models. Dave, do you have a preference?
I do actually, yeah. It took me a little while to realize it, but pretty much throughout my entire wargaming career, everything that I paint, all the armies I painted have all been like humanity against the fantastic. So like the regular Joe soldier versus the something not versus the crazy big monsters.
Right.
So I've painted a lot of them. So my brain's really geared to production line, lots of Imperial Guardsmen or Empire foot soldiers or that sort of thing.
John Thomas wants to know, what chapter is Guy with Blue Shirt painting? Guy with Blue Shirt is Dave Taylor, and he is painting Blood Angel?
Blood Angels, that's
Blood
correct.
Angels.
Yep. Actually, I've got a question that I'd like to throw out to everybody, if I could.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody in the chat or everybody in here?
Everybody in the chat.
Okay.
Well, that's what you guys in here can answer as
And
well.
we're at the 30-minute mark, just so you guys know, 28 minutes, so we're more than halfway through. Just to give you guys a little bit of an update with the timer.
Do you have that other model that I painted?
Oh,
Yeah.
we do. Still
Okay,
on the thing.
Yep. So the question is, stretching. There we go.
That was
Perfect
pretty
television.
nice. That was seamless. By the way.
Seamless television. So on the lovely sheet you've given us here, I've got red shoulder pads, red trim around the shoulder pads. The one I did as practice last week was red shoulder pads and black around the trim. And I've also seen Blood Angels with black shoulder pads, red around the trim, or something like that. So I'm at the point where I could go any of those different ways.
Yeah.
What do people want to see? They want to see black shoulder pads, red shoulder pads,
So red
red
on
trim,
red,
black trim.
black on red, or red on black, or red on black. Yeah. So.
Yeah, a variety. So if they want to let us know.
What is pandering to the crowd?
That's
now they feel that they're invested.
Oh,
I
right.
like it. Oh, he's so good.
All right, so hey, ladies and gentlemen, also if we don't happen to get to your questions or comments, don't worry. We will be coming back to the chat afterwards and answering them as best we can in text. And we'll ask the guys painting here to also take a moment and review the questions, because they're going to have a lot of great information. And that's why we have them here today, because they are really good at their craft, and we wanted to just highlight that, showcase it.
So yeah, throw in the chat what kind of shoulder pads you want to see on Dave Taylor's Blood Angel miniature.
Pink. People are saying pink. Make him a sergeant. Black pads, red trim. Black pad, red trim.
2 for black pad, red trim.
2 black trim. 3 black trim. 4 black trim. Oh, a lot of black trim.
There you have it, folks.
Okay.
The trims have it. Well done. I'm impressed.
So red pad,
black trim.
Okay.
That's correct, right?
Correct.
There we go.
Yes. So.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Now they're invested. Now they're going. Oh, so
Now
smart.
they're
I've often said that he's the smartest painter I've ever met in my life.
I have a feeling this might be the first time you've ever said that.
Really good. I've often said it, folks.
I've often never said it.
I've often considered saying.
I've never even thought about it. In fact.
So Tina's asking, do any of you ever do dry brushing? Obviously, Dave started his model today doing a dry brush.
Yep.
She goes, I'm not liking most of the results I've been getting. Any tips in the dry brush?
Sure. Yep. The biggest thing for dry brushing is you need to be dry brushing something that has texture. Has a lot of texture. When Jeff at the start said, "Oh, you don't dry brush Space Marines," that's pretty much true for regular Space Marines because they lack a lot of texture. The Primaris Space Marines have got a lot of additional plates, armor plates layered over, so you do get some additional texture there. But things like fur or rocks or bases and hair and that kind of thing are perfect for dry brushing. For one of the things I do quite a bit with models, if I've got a dark, designed from a dark prime like a black, I'll get most of my base coating done with a dry brush. Mm-hmm. So using the big brush, this time I used a dark red. If I was doing dark angels, it would have been the Caliban green to start with.
When you do your first, your major kind of color with that, do you do more like an overbrush to keep it a little bit wetter, or do you do a full-on just dry brush?
It
depends on what you're doing.
It really depends.
Yeah, it really depends.
I couldn't tell you sort of which immediately.
The key is to make sure that the brush is dry. You don't definitely want paint on there enough to streak them out and stuff like that.
Yeah. If you're finding that you are getting streaks, either you're putting your brush too close to the model, or you've got too much paint on there.
Okay.
But yeah, just work it slowly up. One of the things as well, a lot of people use their bend it, they move at the elbow to dry brush.
Yeah.
I don't do that. Basically it's as if I'm using chopsticks.
Okay. So
it's just the action's all there in the fingers.
Yes, sir.
So you can get maximum control over it. If you're going like that,
Okay.
it's a lot more brutal.
Okay.
So I'll try and keep it.
Terry says this is why you use the e.l.f. dry brush intended for eyeshadow but repurposes for minis. It's the e.l.f. contour brush for those of you that need to go to your local Ulta to pick one of those up. The e.l.f. contour brush at Ulta.
It's like $50 for that brush.
Look at Drew over there, man. He's already he's killing it. But he's also not talking a lot. He's like, I'm not going to answer any questions. I'm focused.
See, I'll tell you
I'm
why.
focused.
Drew is currently in a place what we call the danger
Yep,
zone.
I'm good.
Very rarely does a painter go into the danger zone, but once you're there for good. And he's not going to leave the danger zone until that model's finished. Danger zone. Not even a titter. Look at him.
Look at him. He is
Stone Cold
focused.
Killer.
I mean, that's what you get when Dwalin's at the table. I mean, he's just hard, like the mountain. The stone which he was forged from. I know, right? Or Target. Terry says you can also get the e.l.f. contour brush at Target.
Ah, nice.
I did not know that. Short bristle brushes usually provide an easier dry brush result as well, since you can control the area you're hitting better than a longer traditional brush. That's coming from Mini Painting Studio.
Yep.
Cool.
Totally agree.
Yeah, he was working on a
Nurgle Demon Prince.
Oh, is
the
it?
last
Is that what it
few
was?
Days, and yeah, it's looking really good. Really liked it. Yeah, you saw it? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great.
I painted one of those. I like that model.
That doesn't count as conversation, by the way.
Yeah, it doesn't, yeah, that grunt. That grunt.
Great.
Grunt only one that's not talking.
And
So again, if you're just tuning in now, thank you very, very much for tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're in the middle of a 1-hour speed painting contest. Our contestants are working on a Primaris Space Marine of a random chapter that they pulled from a box. We have Dave Taylor working on a Blood Angel, Jeff Hall working on a Dark Angel, and Drew not working on an angel. Drew's
True.
working on a White Scar.
they're all angels of
They're
death.
all angels. True. So yeah, we're oh wow, we only got 21 minutes and 28 seconds left. This fantastic speed paint.
Apparently, a guy in Manchester bought the prints midstream.
Brought the what?
Bought the prints, the Nurgle prints.
Oh really?
Yes, during his last stream, midstream purchased
nice.
it.
Yeah, I knew it was for sale.
That's awesome. Cliff Edders grunts are Dave Taylor's preferred method of communication. And Steve Martin's with us.
Hey.
What are your favorite armies to paint?
Armies in general.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know Drew's.
Yeah, we're not gonna.
Crimson Fists.
Crimson Fists.
I do enjoy my fists.
Crimson fails.
Fails.
Mine is by far chaos.
Antonio.
I'm sorry, Kurt. What 40K army have you ever finished?
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Real fast, Jeff. You said just generalized chaos.
Chaos. I've painted multiple chaos armies for 40K,
Yeah.
demons, fantasy,
Oh, so
you know,
chaos
just chaos
in general.
stuff in general.
Bless your
Yeah.
soul. All chaos.
It's dark like chaos.
I
So.
love it.
that's awesome.
Dave, did you have a specific favorite?
Can I answer for Dave? That would be Imperial
Guard?
Guard.
Yeah.
Or Humans Empire.
Human.
If it has Empire in the name.
Yes.
But,
What were you saying?
What was I saying?
I don't know. You were tapping my shoulder.
No, I was laughing at you because he made the comment of you not ever having actually finished painting an
you
army.
can go and paint another Necron army.
What?
So that's the thing too. I was like, I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna do extra steps on my neck round. What a stupid move that was. And spin. To go back to a previous conversation about whether to paint stuff on the sprue or put it together first, I thought I was gonna be cheeky also and clip all the Necron bits out and assemble them, one at a time after clipping them all out. Not smart because they're not all universal. So I have a few Necrons that are kind of doing the Tuscan Raider. Yeah, not good. So follow the instructions, boys and girls. Important to do.
Instructions just slow you down.
Fact.
And everybody is currently today, they are painting for the coveted golden brush that is here before me that took literally minutes to prepare, to make.
Minutes and threes of dollars.
Threes.
Literal. And this is pure solid gold, actually. That is
Gold flake.
and it's very coveted. I mean, people have been having their eye on it all hour long.
Most of us drove all the way from Baltimore for it.
All the way, yes, all the way from Baltimore to actually go to this contest. So.
Yep. We have a gentleman, Alex, wants to know, how do you guys feel about using browns? Tips. I've done about 40 models of Space Bruins, bears instead of wolves, using tans on vehicles and gold metallics as accents. Tips for any of these colors together.
We got universal out of that, folks.
Yeah. He throws the hard questions.
Yeah.
Curveball.
For doing browns,
Browns. Mm-hmm.
I have found that in order to get, you can get a great variety of colors out of your browns by mixing flesh tones into them for highlights, because you can mix a very dark, color, like a dark flesh tone into, for example, like scorched brown, and you'll get, you'll get a very nice dark leather. However, if you mix something like elf flesh into it, you'll get a much brighter, cleaner tone, and it'll look like tanned or prepared leather. So you can actually get a lot of variety in your browns simply by mixing flesh tones in.
Nice.
Sweet. Hey, where can I buy those colors?
at your local hobby shop, I would assume.
Scorched brown elf flesh.
Scorched brown.
Oh.
Elf flesh. Really? Tell me where I can buy that. If you tell me where, I'll go right now. I'll de-mic. I'll go buy some Dublin mud too.
I was gonna say you can. I was gonna say you can travel back in time with us old fart painters and pick them up when they were available in 1997.
I would actually recommend going for the Vallejo game color version, this charred brown at elf skin tone.
There you go.
Oh, there it is.
Way to one up me, Dave.
There it is.
No, I was helping you.
Oh, I see.
Helping.
Oh, I see.
He's
Helping.
If anything, he's measly.
Well, I hope that answers your question, Alex. I feel like there was a lot of good information there.
Yeah, no, and I think adding flesh tone is actually a really, really good idea. I never thought about doing that because if you add white to it, I think, or anything else later, it just kind of muddies it a little bit. So cool.
That was Josh. For those of you that are watching, that was Josh walking by.
Bye, Josh. Nice seeing you.
When I was at a painting seminar at my Roman Lepat from the Massive Voodoo blog, he showed us that trick, mixing the lighter skin tones into browns to get sort of scuff marks around the edges of leather pieces.
Yeah, oh, that's cool.
Something along like the strap.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea.
Nice. So what do we got? We got 16 minutes.
That's seriously no.
It's never a good idea.
Right?
No.
No.
Most colors. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lighten this up. Wait, it is.
So if you guys have any other questions or comments that you would like to drop into the chat, that'd be great. Everybody's here to answer them the best we can. I can't really answer a lot of them about this particular genre because I haven't really played it. The only game in the 40K arena was the original Necromunda.
Yeah.
Many years ago.
Good game.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I used to go to a place in Waukegan, Illinois, and play it. Yeah, many years ago.
15:38 actually. Plenty of time to finish up those miniatures.
Jimmy Perky says, "We're watching you, Drew."
Wait, where?
Carl is wondering,
his bros.
how can I improve my brush skills? My base coats are muddy and uneven, and it's hard to work up from there.
I guess a lot of it, muddy base coats might be coming from using the primer is too dark, or you're using a thinner, or a paint that has less pigment, or thinner pigment. So like reds and those oranges, bright reds, over a darker.
Okay.
So if you're doing something like that, then I'd suggest either starting with a lighter prime
Prime
coat.
yeah.
So
Yeah, if you're looking for
one-
something more vibrant, you
Yeah.
want a brighter prime as opposed to
Nice.
or do the same trick as sort of house painters do if they're painting rooms. If you want a red wall, you don't paint red first because you'll end up painting 6 coats. Trust me, I know. But mixing in a color that has more pigment or a greater pigment density will really help basically get that initial coat down.
Yeah.
So
That's why I mix a red with a dark brownish color to get that deep red
Back to
base.
that
and-
secret tack. Back to it.
yeah.
So good.
It's literally the
he's
Szechuan
right.
sauce of paint.
It really is. I'm very impressed. Goes nowhere without it. I love it.
The Szechuan sauce of paint.
That is a good
We're gonna have to get that, Morty.
All right, 14 minutes.
Wait, it was 15 minutes just a minute ago.
No.
You know how long I've been waiting for it.
I hope Johnny's got the final countdown queued up.
He does. It's ticking off right there.
No, the song.
Oh, it's the final countdown. Well, we don't want to get kicked off the feed for.
Oh no,
using copyrighted
we'll
music.
sing wrong lyrics to make it okay. Don't worry about it.
Does that work?
It's
I'm
the
not a lawyer,
ending
but I don't think that works.
I'm a lawyer. No, it's not true at all.
I'm not a lawyer, but I play.
It would look like everybody's kind of down to that point where they're doing those finer details on their minis.
Well, I would hope so. With 13 minutes left, if they're not doing that, then they're doing something wrong.
I'm going to start from the beginning.
Yeah, raise your hand if you're starting
A
over.
black one. I'm just starting.
Dip and spin, gentlemen.
I'm finished. Can I draw another one? Just do another one real fast.
We're all good with that.
Terry says this is why you need to make GTM branded kazoos.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Kazoo band right now? Perfect.
A kazoo final countdown would be
Right?
phenomenal.
Nate Webster says Kurt is an expert in bird law.
It's true. It's true. Bird law, very important.
Bird law is important. Very cool.
Is that LA?
I'm not a lawyer,
Bird?
but I watch one on TV.
And I stayed at Holiday Inn Express last night.
That's right. Dang it. These are adorable. Look
Yeah,
at these.
yeah, the little files that I used to get the little flash marks off.
Yeah,
or,
is that what you do?
Extra flash off the miniatures, yeah.
Missed the tip of the gun.
Oh my God! Yeah, were all the barrels bored out?
Jesus.
No.
Sadly, no.
No, Jesus. No
We have to
gold.
paint them.
No golden brush for you guys.
It's fair. It's harsh, but
I was just gonna say harsh but fair. All right, so 12 minutes here, guys. Thank you again for watching. If you're just tuning in, the tailspin end here of this 1 hour of this 1 hour painting contest. You're all going down. You're all there's only one way to go from here.
Yeah, and seats were free, but you really only needed the edge.
It's true. It's true. If you're watching
For this exciting.
it's like watching paint dry, but not.
Less exciting.
Between grass growing and paint
What's that
dry.
sound?
yeah, I'm not entirely certain.
So we will be putting all 3 of the miniatures up on the Game Trade Media Facebook page. Once this is all over, we're going to give it about a week.
What? A week? That's a solid amount of time.
Yeah, about a week
Give-
of
give-
voting.
Give them 3 hours.
Yikes. And then we'll announce next week the winner of the Golden Brush and present it to them in
You know
some
what we should
fashion.
do? Like sweepstakes out, find where they live, and just show up with the camera. And be like, here's your golden brush! Come on. Just like the middle of the night. I'm like 3 a.m., ringing the doorbell, knocking on windows.
Not a bad idea.
Spotlights outside.
That's a terrible.
You didn't know what you signed up for.
Terrible
So.
idea.
There's no budget for that. You see what the brush looks like?
Look at him. She would do that for no price at all. He would do that for free.
I mean, look at this. The brush is beautiful. It even comes off of the display there. You can
Now,
actually
did you
hold
get
it.
paint in the bristles when you sprayed it?
I did.
Number one, there are no. There's a solid gold. There's no bristles there, friend.
It's gold wiring put in
Yes.
individually.
You know, it took 3 years to have that made. Handcrafted.
In Peru.
Jerks. God. Talking about our craftsmanship is ridiculous. The integrity of the show is what you're putting on the line here.
What's funny is earlier one of you mentioned the Crystal Brush Award that is from Adepticon, right?
Yep.
I saw 2 of those while I was at another company's offices last week, and they had one of the workers there had 2 of them on his desk. I was like, oh my God, this looks amazing. What are these? And he's like, oh, it's some award I won at some con one time. I was like, what? You can't. He was like totally like,
Did he have a black cap on?
yes.
Is that John Schaefer?
It could have been
Yeah,
John
that's
Schaefer.
John Schaefer.
That's John Schaefer.
Yeah.
I love the descriptor, by the way. As soon as you said the black cap,
cap.
yep, that'll do it.
John
That's
Schaefer.
John Schaefer.
One of the best painters and the humblest. I just didn't really
he's a
work
good
very
dude.
hard on that.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
John Schaefer and Dave and many other fine painters. We used to have a great paint night back in the day.
Back before we had kids.
Back before we had kids and things like that at my house every week, and everybody moved to work elsewhere. Stu Spangler, who now is at Privateer Press, and
John's out in
John's in
Minnesota.
Minnesota with Asmodee, and but yeah, as you said earlier about painting with people, and that nothing increases your skills like painting with good painters.
And productivity. I mean, you just paint more when you're talking with people, and you know what I mean, just hanging out and doing it as opposed to just sitting there by yourself. Unless you have a commission or something you got to crunch down on, you're just more productive. It's more fun to do it.
Absolutely.
as a group activity.
Yeah, and that's why we always like foster or try to champion building your gaming community at your local game store. So go out, find it if you're not already a part of it, and become part of that awesome community. Because as testament to what Jeff just said, it's the best environment to spawn creativity, get a lot of cool minis painted and stuff, and get good critiques and advice from your fellow nerds.
Right, and if you're liking what you're seeing here, guys, talk to the store owner about doing something similar, about doing a 1 hour painting contest, and see if that's something that could build some interest into doing events there at the shop, stuff like that. Store owners like it when people suggest things, right, Jeff?
I think we do.
They like it. What would make this tournament great?
Yeah, midway through the event.
You know what the store needs?
I was going to say, as someone who has organized store events,
Robin, that is a great question. Robin Jones wants to know what parts parts of the painting process do these wonderful artists find most challenging? And how did they learn to overcome that challenge? Through practice, etc.? What, you know?
That is a good question. What a fine-looking question.
A silly question. What a fine-looking question.
I don't have an immediate answer for that one.
Yeah, that is tough.
How about we'll start simple for these guys? What's your favorite color, Dave?
Red. No, blue.
Well played. Well played.
Actually, I think probably I've come up with an actual answer
Okay.
for it. The most challenging is getting time, carving out time. We all do lots of different things in our lives. We work, we play, we have family, we have sleep to get to, things like that.
What's that?
What's that?
Sleep.
I said, what's that?
What's that?
Overrated.
It's like once a week, 4 hours. That's Drew's schedule. But yeah, so finding the time or making the time. I've got a lot of friends who used to paint quite a bit, but now they haven't painted for a couple of years because they lost the habit of painting.
Yeah.
So I think all of us here would agree that we all make sure that we paint a couple of times a week. at
Yeah,
least.
the falling out of habit. You know, after
killer.
a hard day at work, come home, get the kids homework and fed and everything else, and sometimes you're like, I could really work on something, but Stranger Things is on.
Yep.
And I'm
Yes,
just
it is.
Park on my couch and
you're
not do
both
anything else.
so correct, because I'm very cyclical, where I'll go in phases where I'll do really well and I'll paint 3, maybe even 4 times a week, and then just completely drop it and not paint at all for months. It's just crazy. But like you said, you get out of that habit and you don't realize until you're like, wow, I haven't painted a model in a long time.
So yeah, motivation is probably definitely
Yeah.
the key.
And again,
to
I think
hardest
coming
thing.
up with that group meetup, is motivation in and of itself. Is being like, hey, we're getting together every Thursday night at this time or something similar to that.
Yeah.
And events help for that as well, because if you know you have a big tournament coming up or just a fun narrative event you're working towards, that's a big,
Sure.
big driver to get you to focus on things versus like, oh, I don't really have to have this guy done or this army done. It's just something I'm doing.
Yeah.
One more
I have
question
found
coming.
to maintain discipline is one of the hardest things. I have basically set myself the goal of 1 hour a night. Whether it's I just base coat something, whether I just do the eyes on this one set of of minis, or I build a piece of terrain, that sort of thing.
Sure.
At least an hour. I can do more, but I can't do less.
Okay.
And then that way, even if I don't have the motivation, I'm still
You're
painting.
still doing
I'm
something.
still creating.
So guys, we're at the 5-minute warning here, a little bit less now, just to let you guys know where we're at. That is the final countdown.
Yeah. So
At the time. Come
How
on.
long is that song?
we've got one last question. This is coming from Malcolm Owen.
Paint faster.
We know Malk. Malk is actually the gentleman that gave me the miniatures you're painting right now. What is the favorite mini you've ever painted by each of you? And
Singular mini. Ooh.
And what made it your favorite?
Oh, I love the follow-up actually of that. Drew, let's start with you. Johnny on the spot.
I actually just finished recently a model from the game Kingdom Death. It was the model Percival, who is a Black Knight. And I wanted to paint it forever because I just love its very stoic looking, very dynamic looking model. And I really sat down and gave it the credit it was due, because I had to search everywhere to find one.
Really?
And when I finally got my mitts on one, I said, oh, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to have fun. And so that was a labor of love that I think most recently is probably my favorite model that I've painted.
So it's both the journey to
recently.
acquire and then the actual doing it. So it's
Yeah.
cool. Good. That's awesome.
Nice. Jeff?
That is a very hard question.
3 minutes, guys.
I have a couple character models that I've painted for various things that I've been a huge fan of. Kurt, remember not Icket Claw. I painted a Skaven guy who jumped in and he won a contest at your
He did.
Annapolis store.
Yeah.
and
No, it's not. It's a
Queek head taker.
Quick Yep.
Yeah,
It's
and,
assassin. Yep.
and it was just one of those models I actually got to spend a lot of time on. It
awesome.
wasn't for an army or anything. It was just kind of like painting for fun,
Yep.
and I'm a big fan of that model.
And it's cool because, like you said, you get out, you do something that you're not used to doing. I
Right,
mean, you're doing something that's
absolutely.
not for an army that you've painted 1,000,000 miles for.
It's just something you can spend
weird.
a lot of time on, and
Yep, that's awesome.
go from there.
Dave?
Hang on, so I'm just checking the Blind Angels were the 9th Legion. I just needed to get it in. The little thing.
Bless your
Favorite model? That's a really tough one as well for me. I painted a ton of different models.
No.
But the one I'm thinking of at the moment, the one that immediately came to mind,
Yeah.
was the Contemptor Dreadnought from the Forge World.
Okay.
Which is a really, I like it. It's probably my favorite at the moment because you can do a lot of posing with it. It's very flexible. There are a lot of points,
Yeah.
a lot of potential points of articulation.
Sure.
Nice.
Rather than just the one for this guy.
What are you talking about? The head moves, for God's
It
sakes.
does. It does.
The one
Swings
point-
from side to
one
side.
point
It's awesome. I love it. But so you can get a huge variety of poses from
Right.
just that one model. And
As opposed to the one on the starter set.
yeah.
1.5 minutes.
And
gentlemen?
there are enough sort of large armor plates on
To
there.
do some cool stuff,
You
huh?
get some cool shading and tonal variations.
That's awesome.
That would be the big one for me, I think.
Get that little hammer out. Goes off. It's awesome.
Ding, ding, ding.
All right, guys. 1 minute, 15 seconds.
1 minute, and then the vote.
We're not going to ask any more questions. We're going to give you this minute to yourselves in total silence.
Wait it.
I said silence.
So the golden brush, for those of you watching, is what the prize is. This beautiful golden brush award.
$3.5 million. This golden brush cost to me.
Doll hairs. $3.5 million doll hairs.
Spun gold bristles. Solid. This thing weighs about 10 pounds. I am impressed. It literally, the Rumpelstiltskin.
Malcolm Owen said the Contemptor Dreadnought was a great model to paint. Eric, the
Nice to have a fan
brush
club.
is not usable. I no.
Depends what you use it for.
Right, but
Definitely not paint.
yeah, I would not use that brush.
Detail work.
Yeah. We have 18, 17, 16, 15. Uh-oh, we're down to that. 10, 9,
I'm not going to count.
7,
Oh, the
6,
glass is coming off.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're done. All right, all
Edging
done.
the base.
And cool. Very good, guys.
Yes,
you.
well
That's
done.
awesome.
Well done. Everybody
All
clap
right.
at home. If you're not clapping, you're doing it wrong.
Yep.
Good. Congratulations.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Good job,
Well
guys.
done,
Now
gentlemen.
let's get some close-ups. If you guys could go ahead and put your models right up there in front of y'all.
Or how about on this-
or
on
on,
that
on
thing, yeah.
on this thing here, we can get a good close-up of it. Yeah, and then we'll do a nice close-up over here as well.
So you want to do some camera?
Do you want to do
work
some
or-
camera work on that one?
Some camera. Well done,
And then
gentlemen.
we'll get a spinner on them.
Not too shabby.
All right, how do they look?
So focused on everything else, I was like, oh, insignia.
Ah, wow,
I think Drew
Jesus.
started with it.
That is freaking ridiculous.
It's like a Mr. Potato Head. Big parts first.
We saw it,
Little
dude.
parts later.
You painted that on.
Jesus. That's ridiculous. Look at that.
How awesome is that? Yeah, that looks great.
Wow.
Yeah,
What's that?
that's
The
very good.
insignia looks awesome.
Let's go ahead and hand them over here. We'll put them on the rotator individually.
Okay,
You can take the whole cardboard.
Yeah, just bring the whole
Yeah,
card.
bring there you go.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Now if you drop it, that's your job. Don't laugh.
All right, here we go.
Dude, you totally like Indiana Jones that thing.
All right, so the first one we're going to put up over here is going to be Drew's, which is the what chapter was that, Drew?
White Scar.
The White Scar.
Oh, look at that.
Again, in an hour's time, look at this beautiful work that these guys do. It's ridiculous.
Drew, I give it 2 out
This
of
is the
3
best
dings.
You're a
Comes
ding.
around.
You're a ding dong.
Facts.
The first time
Back.
when I saw that,
Yep, keep it on there.
Oh
I want
my
to see the full
God.
turnaround. Don't you change it, Johnny.
Jesus.
Look at that. That's awesome. The little
Wow.
building in the background, the blue light, that's production value.
Jesus, that looks great. Our next Marine
Awesome. Good job, dude.
Thank you.
was, which one is
That's
this?
Jeff Halls, and that is the Dark Angels.
All right. So we're gonna
Oh,
take a look at that backside.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, that's
lot,
tight.
Yeah.
lot of.
That's tight.
Look at that.
It's hard to see because it's so dark.
Oh, it's supposed to be. You did that on purpose.
We come around. Look at that.
Oh.
Man, look at that freaking gun.
against it.
The beauty is that he's got that head pose exactly where he wants it because he could have done that.
Yeah, 1 point of articulation.
look at that.
Look at that breast.
Hey, mine's going. Huh?
The breastplate is sick.
That's good. Two out of three. In case you're wondering, you're all getting 2 out of 3. It just doesn't matter. If I would have
Very
paid,
cool.
there would have been a 3 out of 3. I'm just.
And the last one here is Blood Angels.
Yes, not to be confused with Blood Angles.
Angles,
Yes.
yeah. We want to make sure there's no
I've seen
confusion.
that in a lot of
And this
Army
is
lists.
Dave Taylor.
A lot of Army lists, a lot of tournaments. I've seen the Blood
Look at
Angles.
this.
Every forum ever.
Wow.
All right, coming along, ready for that business. Here it is, and
Dun,
action
dun,
pose.
dun, dun.
Action pose.
That is
2.
2 dings. All right.
2.
Very cool.
Well done, guys. Again, I think you deserve a round of applause.
Good
I'm
job.
very impressed.
All right, so down the line, Drew, what was the most challenging part of your miniature today?
For one, white is a difficult color to base up from, and on a personal note, I always like to say, you don't grow as a painter unless you get outside your comfort zone. White is one of those colors in such large quantities that is outside my comfort zone.
Right.
So I saw, I was thinking about all the
knew it was gonna
chapters I
happen.
could choose, and I went, I bet a buck to a bent dime I'm going to draw a white scar.
And that's why, because you focused on it. That's what
Yeah.
you did. Is you all your
Universe.
psychic energy.
The universe answered your call.
Exactly. So I said, well, that's that. I think that was the most challenging, is that it's not a color I'm normally comfortable
Sure.
with.
That's a good point.
How about you, Jeff? What was your most challenging aspect? of painting?
Initially, the green
Yeah.
I had chosen wasn't covering well, so until I switched up the greens, it just was streaky, and I needed a thicker pigmentation to it. And then Dave came through with some Caliban green, which is the actual Dark Angel base color, and
I'll give
that
him one
helped
ring
me.
for being a nice guy.
Yeah, that was a big help.
That's it. That's all you get for.
That's awesome. And Dave,
Nice.
what was your most challenging aspect?
The most challenging aspect, I think, when I got to painting the shoulder pads and painting the Blood Angel insignia on there.
Yep.
When I messed around with one last week, I went with fairly straight sort of feathers on the wings, but the Blood Angel symbol has a lot of curves
Yeah.
to it. So I started out trying the curves this time around,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't working out for me. So I repainted the shoulder pad and
Okay.
Went with the
started
straight.
it again. Went with a straight.
Yeah.
It's the easiest thing to do.
Especially, with 60 minutes is not a terrible amount of time.
You
So-
don't get a
so-
lot of chance for
And
experimenting.
I'm glad you took the risk. I'm very happy you took the risk and realized, yeah, there's happening. So well done. gentlemen.
See, I would have thought that the first answer would have been our constant badgering and
Answering
and
questions while
questions.
painting, not easy, by the way. Like
Yeah,
having to
it's not.
stop and answer
As
questions.
Jeff said, though, like we've done this before, like
And
a
talking
lot of
with-
paint
yeah.
night stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was tame.
Oh,
There was-
wow, that almost
there was-
sounded like a gauntlet
there was
being
no-
done for the next
There was
event.
no crap talking at all.
That's right. You're gonna have to put your hand in broken glass. Now paint. Glass and glue. Ah! All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and
Prison
gentlemen.
rules.
We're going to be putting these miniatures up on the Facebook page so you can vote for them. We'll have all three of them there, and we'll probably do it like for one, hit the like button, for another, hit the laugh button, and the last one,
Yeah,
I'll be the laugh.
some sort of sad button. I don't know.
Dibs on laugh.
We'll
I get
figure
sad
it out.
because I forgot about it.
Drew's dibs on cry.
And as we always say here at Game Trade Media, go to your local game store. They are where you're going to find that community that become a part of. We appreciate you letting us be a part of your community and watching us in your homes, on your computers, on your cellular devices.
Going to your local game store, that'll give you 3.
3 days.
The only
Three
way to
days.
do it. The only way to do it.
I am Rick. I have been your host here from Game Trade Media. This is Kurt. And we'd like to say thank you to Drew, Jeff, and Dave. Thanks again, gentlemen, for coming in. And we will see you all at your local game shop.
Bye, Kurt.
Bye, guys.
Don't forget to subscribe to Game Trade Media. Leave a like and comment on what videos you'd like to see next.